How much can you make in an hour with CAD-CUT heat transfer vinyl? I hope to answer that question for you in this video, where I'll decorate 6 tie-dye hooded sweatshirts, time the whole process out, and explain to you how to calculate cost, how to set your selling price, and ultimately how to set up production for efficiency. Let's go. Now, UltraWeed is a heat transfer vinyl, which means you need to cut it on a vinyl cutter. I'm using a Graphtec style cutter, but you can use any cutter. I love being able to feed a continuous roll. So step 1 of the process after you create your artwork is to load your roll onto your vinyl cutter to prepare it for cutting. When you have a good brand of vinyl cutter, the machine can track straight for a long time, which means you can load the roll, send your artwork, and forget about it. It will cut everything without you having to attend to it, and then you'll come back when it's completed cutting. Now, this whole process of setting up artwork for this job, for the front design and a sleeve print that we'll apply here in a second, as well as the cutting, took 20 minutes in total. So let's timestamp that. We have 20 minutes down, we've cut our designs, and now they're prepared for the process called weeding. Now we're over at the table. Weeding heat transfer vinyl, well, it's not everybody's favorite job. It can consume some time. But most people overestimate the time that it takes to weed, and it turns them off from the process. I'm here to tell you, not only can it be easy to weed products, but you can still make money even when you're cutting and weeding. This 6-piece job with 2 applications onto the hoodie is perfect for a heat transfer vinyl job. At the end of the day, I like to lay the material completely flat in a well-lit area for weeding. Use a tool like the Stahl's Easy Weeder and start to remove the excess. As a bonus, if you can weed onto a heated surface, and we carry 2 choices for that, a weeding panel that heats up or a Stahl's Easy Weeding table, well then you can speed up this process even further. Now that all my designs have been weeded, I want to trim them apart. I have a nice big counter area where I can keep those designs that are trimmed apart to prepare them for heat application. If you're counting along, it took 20 minutes for the art setup and the cutting, 20 minutes for the weeding, so I have 40 minutes total that have been completed. Now, let's head over to the heat press for application. I have my heat press set up in a special way. I have it loaded with our Tagalong HP Platen. Not only does this Platen allow you to print tagless transfers on crew neck style t-shirts and fleece alike, but it makes loading any shirt easier and faster. Even with this hoodie, I'm using the Tagalong HP Platen because I can load my shirt a lot quicker, as you'll see in this footage. The front design placement is easy. I can see through my UltraWeed heat transfer vinyl. I have my heat press set. It just needs to be between 280 and 300 degrees, and every application takes 12 seconds. So the process is the same for every shirt. I'll load it on, quick and easy with the Tagalong HP Platen. I'll position my design. I'll lock down the press. I'm using my Hotronix Auto Open Clam. It's a 16 by 20 inch size. It opens automatically when the application is completed, so I can multitask. And you'll notice I have it loaded on what we call a counter caddy. This is a stand that allows me to split that garment and load it on. That makes it easy to get to a single layer and to be able to position my designs and be efficient in the application. Again, for these front prints, very quick, very easy. Just repeat the process for each shirt. But we're not done yet. You see, I wanted to make this garment stand out just a little more for the client I was decorating for, which was a photography studio. And so I wanted to do a sleeve print. This was for a senior crew that's going to be representing her brand throughout the year for photos. And I wanted to put Class of 2022 on the sleeve, or Class of 22, I guess. Now, pressing a sleeve print can be challenging for a lot of folks. But when you use an accessory like a heat press pillow that I'm showing you here, it can actually get a lot easier. Now I'll use my arm as a guide, and I'll grab my heat press pillow and slide it completely into the sleeve. Next, I just lay that sleeve on top of the press, being sure that I've adjusted my pressure for my UltraWeed heat transfer vinyl so it gets accurate pressure, and then I'll just position my design and lock it down. And so while it takes a few extra seconds to load the pillow into your sleeve and to remove the pillow when the application is complete, really this doesn't take a whole lot of time at all to be able to add an extra branding location. And the great news is I was able to kind of nest up this design, so I wasn't using a whole lot of extra material for this extra print location that really makes the garment stand out a bit more. For all of the heat application, that's the front prints on these 6 hoodies as well as the sleeve prints for the 6 hoodies. Again, 20 minutes total, not to exceed 20 minutes for any step in the process. So when you add this all together and we timestamp, we're looking at 60 minutes of manufacturing time for 6 shirts. Now, how can we make money on that? Well, let's go through our cost calculation now. First off, this tie-dye hoodie, we're set up to buy it wholesale. That means I've given a wholesale supplier like S&S Activewear, in this case, my tax ID number to get the best rate on this hoodie. You need to do that if you want to save money on your blank apparel. Set up with a tax ID, get your business established correctly so you can get the best possible costs. In this case, the hoodie is $19.99 each. I ordered enough on this order with grouping up some other garments to get free freight, so I don't need to worry about that. Next, the material utilized. For all of these designs, I've used 1.5 yards of heat transfer vinyl in our UltraWeed product, or $10.35 in material costs. When I divide this out by my 6 hoodies, I get $1.73 per hoodie for the material. That does include the freight that it took to get the material to me from Stahls, which is a $5 flat rate. This is the light navy color in UltraWeed, just for reference. So if you're keeping track of everything so far, I have $19.99 in my hoodie, I have $1.73 in my cost of material for decoration. But don't forget to pay yourself, guys. You need to calculate labor. We know this job took 1 hour. Establish a rate to pay yourself so one day you can replace yourself. In this case, I've established my going rate for weeding and heat application, paying myself in the business at $12. That creates some simple math. Divide that by the 6 hoodies, and it's about $2 in labor per hoodie for the heat application time and the weeding time. Okay, so $2 per hoodie in labor. If you're following along, we'll add up all of those costs now. That's called direct costs. They're everything that goes directly into making this piece. It's the manufacturing component. $19.99 plus $1.73 plus $2. If you got your calculators out, don't worry, I'll help you. $23.72 is what this costs to make. But again, we're not done yet. A lot of people stop here, but you want to make sure to factor overhead in. We want to hit every piece of cost that's involved with creating something in a business. And again, if your space is free and your electricity is free, we're moving in, right? We need to make sure we factor in that overhead. Now, overhead can be a complex calculation, but I want to keep it simple for you here today. Your goal in your business is to establish an overhead rate. I've established for the size of my business and for the space and the expense that I'm putting out, basically all of the expenses that hit the bucket that aren't direct cost. They're called indirect costs or overhead. That would include my lease, if I had one, my electricity, which I definitely have from the heat presses that I'm operating, but it also includes sales and marketing and front office expense. So all of that labor that it takes to write an order, that goes into the overhead bucket. I'm able to factor in a percentage that I apply to each job for my overhead. I'll talk a little bit more about how to come up with your overhead rate at the end of the video. But trust me, my overhead rate is 15%. So I'll take those direct costs, $23.72 that we calculated, multiply it by the overhead rate of 15%, and I know I need to apply $3.56 in overhead to this particular job. Take your direct costs of $23.72, add the overhead costs that we've just calculated of $3.56, and my total cost to make each hoodie is $27.28. Now that doesn't leave any cost unaccounted for. That cost includes everything. The cost of your materials, the cost to make it, and your overhead. The question is, what can you sell this for? Now I've made some notes here, and I know that I sold this hoodie for $45. That means I profited $17.72 for each hoodie. Multiply that by 6, that's $106.32 with this hour of my time. The point is, You don't always need to decorate 50 shirts or 100 shirts or aspire to have screen printing equipment to make money. You can make a real business by focusing on higher-end garments, lower quantity runs, and charging pricing that delivers profit. But first, you have to understand how to calculate cost accurately so you can make money. I have a great video that walks through this in depth. Remember, I told you I was going to show you how to calculate overhead. Well, I can't do that in this short video, but I can definitely do that if you watch the video that's linked down in the description. That is an hour-long class that talks all about calculating costs and setting selling prices that is certainly going to set you up for success in your small business. If you like this video, well, click the thumbs up. And make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can get great content about how to create high-quality apparel with a heat press and how to make money doing it. Thanks for watching.